My toxic ex spread. Lies about my mom, so I broke up with her. If you love real-life stories from Reddit, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. New stories every week. I should have known things were going to end badly with my girlfriend Lexi. She was the kind of person who thrived on chaos, who loved pushing boundaries just to see how far she could go. But I didn't realize just how far she'd go or how much damage she'd cause until my mom got involved. It all started with the way Lexi dressed. Lexi had a unique sense of style. She wore whatever she wanted, no matter how inappropriate it was. Mini skirts that barely covered anything, crop tops that left little to the imagination, and heels so high she could barely walk in them. It wasn't just the clothes, it was the way she flaunted them, like she was daring people to say something. At first I didn't mind. I thought it was just her being confident, being herself. But then my mom started noticing. Does she always dress like that? My mom asked one day after Lexi left the house. Like what? I said, playing dumb. Like she's auditioning for a music video, my mom replied, her tone sharp. I laughed it off, but my mom wasn't joking. Things came to a head one Sunday dinner. Lexi showed up in a dress so tight and short it looked like it had been painted on. My mom's eyes nearly popped out of her head. Lexi, my mom said, her voice calm but firm, don't you think that's a bit much for a family dinner? Lexi smirked. What's wrong, Mrs. Carter? Jealous? My mom's jaw tightened. No, I'm not jealous. I'm just wondering why you feel the need to dress like that in front of my son and his family. Lexi rolled her eyes. It's called fashion. Maybe you should try it sometime. The table went silent. I could feel the tension in the air, thick and suffocating. The outfits were just the tip of the iceberg. Lexi had a way of talking to my parents that made my skin crawl. She'd interrupt them, roll her eyes when they spoke, and make snide comments under her breath. Your mom's so old-fashioned, Lexi said one night after dinner. Does she even know what year it is? She's just from a different generation, I said, trying to defend my mom. Yeah, the Stone Age, Lexi shot back. And then there was the way she treated me. Lexi was controlling, manipulative, and downright mean at times. She'd belittle me in front of my friends, make me cancel plans to spend time with her, and guilt-trip me if I didn't do exactly what she wanted. But the final straw came when my mom decided to confront her. One afternoon, my mom showed up at my apartment unannounced. Lexi was there, lounging on the couch in one of her barely-there outfits. We need to talk, my mom said, her voice firm. Lexi raised an eyebrow. About what? About the way you treat my son, my mom said, and the way you dress and the way you talk to me and his father. It's disrespectful and it's unacceptable. Lexi laughed. Oh, please, you're just mad because your son actually likes me. My mom's eyes narrowed. No, I'm mad because you're toxic, and if you don't change your behavior, you're going to regret it. Lexi stood up, her face red with anger. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mother. No, my mom said, her voice cold. But I am his, and I won't let you ruin his life. Lexi stormed out of the apartment, slamming the door behind her. I thought that would be the end of it, but I was wrong, because Lexi wasn't the type to let things go. Lexi didn't take my mom's confrontation well. In fact, she took it as a declaration of war, and when Lexi declared war, she didn't hold back. The first salvo came on social media. Lexi posted a series of cryptic messages that were clearly aimed at my mom. Some people need to mind their own business, she wrote in one post. Just because you're old and bitter doesn't mean you get to control everyone else's life. The comments were filled with her friends egging her on, calling my mom toxic and controlling. I tried to ignore it, but my mom saw the post and was furious. She's trying to humiliate me, my mom said, her voice shaking with anger. Just block her, I said, trying to calm her down. She's not worth it. But Lexi wasn't done. Next, Lexi started spreading lies about my mom. She told her friends that my mom was abusive, that she'd insulted her and threatened her. She even claimed that my mom had tried to hit her during their confrontation. The lies spread like wildfire, and soon people I'd known for years were looking at me differently. Is it true? One of my friends asked. Did your mom really try to hit Lexi? Of course not, I said, my voice rising. Lexi's lying. She's just trying to cause trouble. But not everyone believed me. Lexi didn't stop at social media. She started calling my family members, telling them the same lies she told her friends. Your mom's out of control, she said to my aunt during one call. She's trying to ruin my relationship with your nephew. My aunt, who had always been close to my mom, was shocked. She called my mom to confront her, and the two of them got into a huge argument. I can't believe you'd do something like that, my aunt said. I didn't do anything, my mom shouted. Lexi's lying. But the damage was done. My family was divided, and the tension was unbearable. Finally, Lexi turned her attention to me. You need to choose, she said one night, her voice cold. It's me or your mom. I stared at her, my heart pounding. What are you talking about? Your mom's toxic, Lexi said. She's trying to ruin our relationship, and if you don't stand up to her, I'm done. I felt a surge of anger. My mom's not toxic. You're the one causing all this drama. Lexi's eyes narrowed. So you're choosing her over me? I'm not choosing anyone, I said, but I'm not going to let you destroy my family. Lexi stood up, her face red with anger. Fine, but don't come crying to me when you realize what a mistake you've made. Lexi moved out the next day, taking all her drama with her. I thought that would be the end of it, but I was wrong, because Lexi wasn't the type to let things go. Lexi's departure didn't bring peace, it brought chaos. She wasn't the type to walk away quietly, and she made sure her exit was as dramatic as possible. What started as petty social media posts and lies quickly escalated into something far more destructive. Lexi took her revenge to the next level by making false accusations against me. She claimed I was emotionally abusive, controlling, and even threatened to ruin my reputation at work. She posted long, detailed rants online, painting herself as the victim and me as the villain. He gaslit me for years, she wrote in one post. He controlled what I wore, who I talked to, and even tried to turn his family against me. The comments were brutal. People I didn't even know were calling me names, demanding I do better, and siding with Lexi without hearing my side of the story. Lexi didn't stop at social media. She emailed my boss, claiming I had created a hostile environment for her and that I was unfit to work in a professional setting. My boss called me into his office, his expression serious. Is there any truth to this? He asked, showing me the email. No, I said, my voice firm. Lexi's my ex, and she's trying to ruin my life because I stood up to her. My boss believed me, but the damage was done. My coworkers started treating me differently, and I could feel the tension every time I walked into the office. Meanwhile, the drama with my family continued to escalate. Lexi had convinced some of my relatives that my mom was the problem, and they started pressuring me to apologize to Lexi and make things right. She's just hurt, my cousin said during one particularly frustrating phone call. Maybe if you reached out, she'd calm down. I'm not apologizing for something I didn't do, I said, my voice rising. Lexi's the one causing all this drama, not me. But not everyone understood. Some family members stopped talking to me altogether, and the divide grew wider every day. The final straw came when Lexi showed up at my mom's house. I was there for dinner when the doorbell rang. My mom opened the door, and there was Lexi standing on the porch with a smirk on her face. What are you doing here? My mom asked, her voice cold. I just wanted to talk, Lexi said, pushing past her into the house. I stood up, my heart pounding. Lexi, you need to leave. Not until you hear me out, she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. I'm willing to forgive you, both of you, if you apologize and admit you were wrong. My mom's eyes narrowed. We're not apologizing for anything. You're the one who's been lying and causing trouble. Lexi's smirk faded, replaced by a look of pure rage. Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. After that, things got even worse. Lexi started posting videos online, crying and claiming my mom had attacked her during the confrontation. She even filed a restraining order against my mom, claiming she felt unsafe. It was all lies, of course, but the legal battle was exhausting. My mom had to hire a lawyer to fight the restraining order, and the stress was taking a toll on her. Lexi's revenge plot had spiraled out of control, but I wasn't going to let her destroy my life or my family's. It was time to fight back, and fight back hard. The restraining order Lexi filed against my mom was the last straw. We hired a lawyer and prepared to fight it in court. My mom was terrified, but I assured her we'd win. She's lying, I said, and we're going to prove it. In court, Lexi's lies quickly unraveled. Her stories were inconsistent, and her evidence was flimsy at best. My mom's lawyer tore her apart on the stand, exposing her as the manipulative, vindictive person she really was. The judge dismissed the restraining order and even warned Lexi about filing false claims. It was a victory, but it came at a cost. The legal fees were steep, and the emotional toll was even worse. With the legal battle behind us, I decided it was time to set the record straight. I posted a long, detailed explanation of everything that had happened, complete with screenshots of Lexi's lies and threats. I've stayed quiet for too long, I wrote, but it's time to tell the truth. Lexi has been lying, manipulating, and trying to ruin my life because I stood up to her toxic behavior. I won't let her get away with it anymore. The response was overwhelming. People who had believed Lexi's lies apologized, and others shared their own stories of dealing with toxic exes. Lexi tried to defend herself, but her excuses fell flat. Lexi didn't take the backlash well. She showed up at my apartment one night demanding to talk. You ruined my life, she said, her voice shaking with anger. No, Lexi, I replied. You ruined your own life. I just stopped letting you ruin mine. She stared at me for a long moment, then turned and walked away. I didn't hear from her again. With Lexi out of my life, I focused on rebuilding. My mom and I grew closer and my family started to heal. I even started dating again, this time with a better sense of what I wanted and what I wouldn't tolerate. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more.